What's up, Bears fans? I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. Today's show sponsored by True Classic. Use promo code CHAT to get 25% off at checkout. It's trueclassic.com/chat, code CHAT. Get one of these polos or get a bundle of them. They're great products. Promo code CHAT for 25% off. On today's show, Chicago Bears players that could receive contract extensions before week one or technically into the season, but we'll kind of focus on is if it were going to happen during the offseason here. Now, Matt Eberflus told Dave Wanstead, former Bears coach, who's now with the 33rd team, that the team is working on extending some of their players. He also was talking about potential free agent targets, but we're going to work on the or focus on the potential extension. So I've come up with 4 guys that I think could be in line for an extension, and at the end of each player discussion, I will give my verdict as to whether or not I would extend that player before week one. But before we jump in, who's excited for Bears football? OTAs are back. We'll get into mandatory minicamp next month, training camp the month after that. Boom, you take a couple nights sleep, all of a sudden you're going to wake up, it's going to be preseason. Like this video if you're excited for some Bears football. Let's get to 1,000 likes on today's show. All right, some Bears extension candidates. We'll start with Darnell Mooney, the wide receiver. And all these players, what they have in common is they're entering the final year of their rookie contract. Now, Darnell Mooney recently, talking to the St. Brown brothers, Equanimous and Amon-Ra, they had a fun show. They have a podcast. Mooney hopped on with them and had this to say when asked about a potential extension. He says, I feel good about it, though. They want to see me run and stuff after ankle surgery. I'm talking about the Bears staff. So we'll see. I'm in no rush. I am running. I'm cutting. Started cutting today. This has obviously been a few days now. So I'll be 100%. I got screws in my foot, so I'll be a little robotic, probably 1,000 times better than I was. I thought Mooney was actually really funny on this podcast. You guys should go check it out. Now, if you don't remember, Mooney's coming off a fractured fibula. I mean, this is a real injury. Like, this is not like, he had an ankle sprain. Take 6 weeks off in the offseason, he'll be fine. He's still rehabbing. He's still coming back. Now, the fact that he's running, cutting around, that's a good sign. You look at his 3 years in Chicago, had a solid rookie season, breakout 2021 when he had 1,000 yards. And last year started a bit slow, but was starting to pick it up. And then, boom, there goes the ankle injury. So that was a bummer to see. Had he finished last year cleanly and finished strong, I think it's possible he'd already have an extension. But I think a notable injury like that, it only makes sense for Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and this staff to see how he looks, at least, on into training camp. So I could see them taking their time with Mooney again. I'll give my verdict here in just a little bit. You look at this depth chart, obviously DJ Moore's your number 1 now, but Mooney, when right, can be a damn good 2 in this league. We've already seen that. I think he's a proven number 2 when healthy. Claypool, when he's fully right, too, can be a proven number 2. But, 2, 3, that's interchangeable there. Obviously, Darnell Mooney's a good player, but I think the injury stuff is notable when having these discussions. So, what do you think? You're Ryan Poles. What would you do right now? Should the Bears extend Darnell Mooney? Type moon for yes or type boo for no. Let me know in the comment section down below. Now, my verdict on Darnell Mooney is I want to keep him in Chicago. But the Bears should wait until he's fully cleared from injury and see how he looks at training camp. Get him a couple weeks into practice at camp. If he looks like he was, if he's making a ton of plays, I'm comfortable extending him before week one because, A, that will probably keep the price down, and B, he's a guy that I think has earned it with his play on the field. But you got to make sure the injury stuff checks out. I mean, a guy who had to get screws in his foot, in his ankle area, whatever, that's got to check out. So if it does, if he clears, and if he looks like himself, then yeah, I'm comfortable extending Darnell Mooney. I'm very comfortable when I'm rocking True Classic, rocking one of their polos right now. And if you want an easy Father's Day present, True Classic is the perfect answer with Father's Day just around the corner. You want to find your dad or grandfather or whatever the gift that they will actually love and give them the style and comfort that they desire with True Classic. Their ultra soft, perfectly fitted tees are just the beginning. True Classic has everything you need to build a complete wardrobe, from button-downs to Henleys to polos as well. And their latest comfort jeans are a must-have for anyone who wants to look sharp and feel comfortable at the same time. But True Classic isn't just about clothes. They also have a line of active shirts, shorts, and joggers that are perfect for anyone who wants to stay comfortable while staying active. I got a couple of their athletic T-shirts recently, and boy, they are comfortable. And if you aren't satisfied with your purchase for any reason, they offer a 100% risk guarantee and easy return, so that's a nice bonus as well. Don't forget to use the code CHAT when you check out at trueclassic.com/chat. That's going to get you 25% off at checkout. And give your dad something he'll actually want and wear this Father's Day. I've had so many Father's Days in the past where I've gotten my dad something and he doesn't use it, right? Like we always think, oh, I'll get him some tool, and then it just collects dust in the garage. So True Classic, promo code CHAT at trueclassic.com/chat. Check the link and promo code in the description and comments. We go from one receiver to another as a potential extension candidate. That is, of course, Chase Claypool. And it's a bit of a different discussion here, right? Because a couple things. One, Ryan Poles has talked about wanting to keep players that are homegrown. Well, Chase Claypool isn't homegrown. Now, Ryan Poles traded for him, so he obviously wants him to be here, but he's got a lot to prove, right? You kind of look at his career trajectory there at the bottom. Really great rookie year. Almost 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. Good second year. The touchdowns went down, but still had almost 60 catches, 860 yards. Last year combined, less than 500 yards and just 1 touchdown. Was starting out slow with Pittsburgh. They tried to make him a big slot. He didn't play that well there. I think the Bears will do some of that with him, but I think he'll play more outside. Only had 14 catches for 140 yards with the Bears. He admitted it was hard to adjust to getting traded just in general, like, moving, learning a new offense. I think that second part, the learning a new system, was a challenge for him as well. But the bottom line is he's got to prove it. I mean, he's got to prove it here. Now, the Bears are hoping he does because they traded the number 32 overall pick for him. They didn't know it was going to be the number 32 overall pick, but that's what it ended up being. So they're hoping that that trade pays off. Justin Fields spoke highly of Claypool at OTA, saying he has improved tremendously, was the quote he used, and also talked about how he's changed his attitude. Claypool, there were questions when he was in Pittsburgh. He's got a bad attitude, this and that. And for Fields to say that, I think is notable. I think it's kind of saying, hey, he needed to get his attitude in check, and he has. But talk is cheap. It's all going to come down to how he plays on Sunday. So I think if he does do that, he'll get an extension. But to do that before then, I don't know. I think you got to see this guy prove something for you. Should the Bears extend Chase Claypool? What do you think? Type E for extend or W for wait. If you're asking me, I got to wait. I got to see what he can do in 2023. Now, if you get to week 6 and, he's got, 25 catches, 375 yards, a couple touchdowns, yeah, you can extend him mid-season. I would absolutely do that, but I don't know if I can extend him before week 1, man. Not with what he showed last year, which wasn't that much. And look, a lot of that was probably not his fault. It's hard to adjust on the fly like that, but again, you've got to see more before you commit to a player for multiple more seasons. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Jaylon Johnson, the cornerback who was not at the first session of OTAs, at least the first 2 days. Look, he's been a good player for you, right? There's no doubt. Ryan Pace drafted him in the second round a few years ago, and he's been pretty good. Now, the last couple of years, some minor injury things have popped up, so nothing that's overly concerning, but something that's notable, right? Which has caused, slight decrease in ball production. I think some of that, too, is teams aren't targeting him as much. His rookie year, Kyle Fuller was still on this team, so they went after the rookie and Johnson, and he held up, right? 15 breakups. You'd like to see him create more turnovers with interceptions. Only has 1 in 3 seasons, but does make up for that a bit by not giving up a ton of big plays. And he also has had several forced fumbles. That's been a positive as well. I like Jaylon Johnson. I'd like to keep him here. I think the potential of this cornerback room is tremendous with him. Kyler Gordon, you're hoping he builds off a strong finish last year and can turn into one of the best nickel backs in this league. You drafted Tyreek Stevenson. I think he's got the makings, the physical profile of being a good outside corner as well. I'll just bluntly say it. Jaylon Johnson needs to be here. If you're asking me out of the 4 players we're discussing today, Johnson is probably the one I would want to get done first. Not even necessarily because he's the best pure player. It's more of, if you don't have him here, if Stevenson doesn't pan out, if Gordon doesn't take another step, then you're having to reset at corner. You know what you have in Jaylon Johnson. Now, maybe he's not a true top 5, top 10 lockdown number 1 corner, but he's a low end 1, great 2 at worst. That's a player worth keeping, in my opinion. Would you extend Jaylon Johnson if you were in charge? Type Y for yes, or you can type N for no. Let me know when it comes to Jaylon Johnson if you would extend him or not. I've kind of made it clear. I would. I know there's been some minor injury concerns, but he's worthy of a second contract. This is a guy you keep around. And I think signing him now could save you money later. Because what if you don't sign him and he has that true, lockdown 17 games of CB1 play? Then you could go from maybe now it's 10 to 12 million per year. It could go 15 to 18 million per year. Elite corners are getting close to 20 million per year now. So if you could get them for 12, 13 mil right now, I'd probably just go ahead and do that. Not sure where they're at in those negotiations, but something to consider. I'll tell you this, if any of these guys sign an extension, we're going to break it down when Bears news drops. That's what we do. We bring you guys a video. If it's a big enough news item, we'll go live and break that down with you as well. So subscribe, turn on your notifications. Do not miss out on anything. All right, last player here, Cole Kmet, as we go back to the offensive side of the ball. Of course, the tight end. And look, Kmet has really just kind of become a nice player here, right? Rookie year, he was kind of slow out of the gates. Second half of the year, started to do some things, had 28 catches for 243, 2 touchdowns. Second year, a lot of catches, but Matt Nagy was clueless in terms of having to use him as a red zone option. This last year, the targets went down a little bit, so the catches and yards went slightly down because this team ran the ball so well and so often. But that third column there, the touchdowns, that you like to see that. If he's a guy that's between 500 and 700 yards and 5+ touchdowns year in and year out, that's a good player. That's not Travis Kelce, but that's a starting caliber tight end. I think last year confirmed that this is a good starting tight end, top 10-ish tight end in the NFL. I like bringing in Robert Tonyan as well. And Ryan Poles, when asked after the 2022 season if there was someone he views as a cornerstone player on this football team right now, which, look, coming off a 3-14 year, it's not like Ryan Poles had a long list to choose from. He named Cole Kmet. I think that's meaningful. That tells me he wants to keep him here. And Ryan Poles, when he says something publicly, I mean, he means it. Like that. He told the media he wants to trade the number 1 pick before free agency. What did he do? He's been pretty honest with how he wants to do things. So that tells me Cole Kmet's a guy they want to keep here. I would not be surprised at all if he was the first player who got extended. What do you guys think, though? Should the Bears extend Cole Kmet? Type 1 for yes, or you can type 2 for no. I would like to keep Cole Kmet in Chicago. I'm typing my 1 for yes. That is my verdict. He's a well-rounded starting tight end. He should be extended before week 1, period. If I'm the Bears, I'm getting him and Jaylon Johnson done. I might wait a little bit on receiver. You've got more wiggle room by trading for DJ Moore. You drafted Tyler Scott. You don't have to force it with Darnell Mooney or Chase Claypool right now. Hell, you don't have to extend either of them. Play this year out and extend the better player at the end of the year. I'm perfectly fine with that as well. But I think Kmet and Johnson, those are two guys that you took in the second round in the same draft, just a few picks apart, and they've lived up to that. Those are 2 good picks by Ryan Pace. I want to give credit where credit's due. And I think there's some players that can be part of this Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus nucleus. So I would like to see that get done. And hopefully Mooney and Claypool both play well, and they're around here as well. I mean, I would like to keep all 4 of these guys in the perfect scenario. The Bears will have the cap space to do so if they choose to go that route. I'm Harrison Graham. Appreciate you tuning in to today's segment. If you want more Bears content, be sure to subscribe to the channel.